Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Dorio,
on your hometown station, KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, our in-studio guest this morning is Dr. Roscoe Marta from Facey Medical Group. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me on.
Glad to have you. And later in the hour, we will be speaking with Nuala Aronson of Advanced Audiology, a sponsor of the Senior Hour. And what we'll be talking about, Gene?
Well, I did want to mention that, Barbara, you belong to an organization, Zanta, which grants monies to other organizations here in the Valley, and one of the organizations is the Senior Center, and you did that on behalf of women, and there is now going to be workshops at the Senior Center called Empowering Senior Women, and there are 3 of them this month, November and December. The first one will be on October the 12th, and it will be with Dr. Terry Crane, and it's going to be talking about women who are widowed, our senior women who are widowed, and about how to understand what one has to do psychologically to keep their mind and their bodies going. So it's going to be a great talk, and I'm just so thankful that, Barbara, you and your group were able to put money forward and allowed a grant for these workshops to happen. So this is going to be next week on October the 12th at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock at 2 o'clock to 3:30 at the Senior Center. So all of you are invited. It's free. There's going to be refreshments, and I think not only will there be refreshments, but there'll be an understanding that one will get when one is widowed and has to move forward in life.
That should be very interesting.
Should be very interesting.
Yes.
So if you can all make it, all our listeners, especially our senior women, please come out. It'll be an enjoyable time.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Gene. Well, Dr. Roscoe Marta.
Well, I'm hoping that whoever the speaker is there will be very entertaining, because you picked a tough subject there. So, but it's an important one, and I think that we need to plan for those types of difficult questions. And so I'm glad to see that that's being taken on.
And medicine as well, Roscoe, is not easy for any of our patients that come into the hospital. And Facey has been in the Valley for many years. And for some of our listeners, they see the buildings with the signs on it that says Facey, but they don't know if it stands for something or if it was an individual. And I was telling our guest last week, Chris, who is a physician with Facey, that indeed Facey is named after a doctor who was in this valley, in the San Fernando Valley, and but he has taken a small group and made it into a group that serves our community. And your field is OBGYN.
Yes.
And it's certainly on the Senior Hour for our senior patients plays a huge role because many senior women, they get information that's not great information, but we want to clarify some of those things within that realm. But first of all, let's talk about Facey. Let's talk about the group here and when it developed and the history of it a little bit, and what it's going to be doing in the near future.
Right. So, as you said, Facey was founded many, many years ago by Dr. Frederick Facey, and so he started out with a very small group of practitioners, and it's grown from there. He's no longer in control. He's passed many years ago now, but we try and carry on his legacy of providing quality care throughout various places. Many people probably remember Tom Connolly, who's still very active in the community. He was one of the first pediatricians out at the Canyon Country office. Dr. Frederick Russo was out in that Canyon Country office at least 30 years ago now.
Wow.
Dr. Couture, my partner at OBGYN here, has been with the company, I believe, 27, 28 years as well, all in Santa Clarita. And so he's been here quite a while. And it's kind of when Facey broke into the Santa Clarita Valley. So we've been here a little while, longer than I've been with it. So I didn't come to to Santa Clarita till probably 1999. So
I see. Have you lived here? Do you live here now?
I do. I live in Stevenson Ranch / Newhall. So
Slash Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita / LA County. Yes, kind of depends.
Oh,
on
so many
who do you
names.
call? Who do you call when
What
you
you
need
want your
something?
label to be at the time.
So,
But as people go by the hospital, they see an expansion taking place. They see a tower going up, and we've had limited space at Henry Mayo, but now with that tower, we're going to have quite a few more services that will be provided, and Facey will endeavor to provide a lot of those services. What do we look forward to in the near future, in the next few years, of what the Valley can see being given to the community in terms of health care?
I'm not sure that in the planning of the tower that we really see a lot of brand new services, but I think we're going to see a clear enhancement of many of the services that are already provided. In my area, in obstetrics women's unit, they're going to be adding 2 OR rooms that are dedicated directly to us. And so, in the unfortunate case where you need a cesarean section, we should be able to do that on a timely basis without having to bargain. Right now, the hospital already has a room dedicated to us, which makes it harder for some of the other surgeons that need a room to be able to get in. And so this will free up a room in the main hospital, provide us with adequate facilities to be able to do what we need to do well as well. And so that and all new private rooms, which we're very much looking forward to. The tower will be all set up with private rooms. I know that's a big concern with a lot of my patients. Are they gonna end up doubling up with another patient after they deliver, so that making it difficult for their husband to stay or their family to stay with them, and this will allow us that opportunity to do that.
Wow, that's incredible.
No,
I don't
it's
think
going to be wonderful.
I don't think that's common knowledge.
No, and I don't think it is. But as
And it needs to be.
As the expansion takes place and the building gets built, then it will be put out there. It's been stated in the fundraising that it's going to be there, but until it's there in your lap,
That's
until you
true.
can see it and sense it
Yeah.
and know that you can utilize it, you don't think about it. So
But
as we
you know-
get toward that, we're going to be talking about it more.
But that's really a fantastic addition to the main hospital.
It is, and
To
for all
have-
of the patients, not
Yes.
just in our unit. It's all throughout the tower. So the medicine patients, the heart patients, the post-surgical patients, everybody will be set up with that area, which is wonderful for privacy.
So it's actually another hospital, so to speak, attached to a hospital.
Yeah,
in
hopefully it'll
many
be integrated
respects.
enough it won't feel like a
Well,
solely
that's
separate
true.
one.
That's true. But I don't think the community realizes that that's what's going in,
Yes.
because that's going to ease a lot of tension, especially when you say there are private rooms there.
Yes.
I
No,
know
that's wonderful.
my husband was in the hospital a few weeks ago for 6 days, and he didn't like it because he was in a room with another patient.
Yes.
He said, "There's no privacy."
It's a lot less than you would want. Yes.
It really is.
Right.
And he was quite uncomfortable
Yeah.
the whole time he was there, because having to get up and walk around in front of the bed to get to the restroom, that's a little disconcerting. And
can be.
Yeah, it can be. And I think patients are going to be much more satisfied
Yes.
with a situation like that.
No, it'll help
having
with
a private room.
being able to relax, being able to rest more comfortably, so that the person next to you, when they're having whatever going on,
That's
you're
right.
not having to be involved in it.
That's right.
So I know in our unit we try very hard to keep them in a single as best we can, and we generally are very successful at it. But periodically, when the volume gets high, then we have to double up, and so
Right.
we do what we have to do. But most often we're not needing to, which has been helpful.
And for our seniors especially, they know Henry Mayo has been crowded. And now that we'll have more room, the most important thing that I see is that we're going to have more operating rooms, because the lack of operating rooms impacts our services that we can provide. Once we get the operating rooms in, first of all, for sure, you guys won't be impacted if you were ever before in the past, and I'm sure you have, but our surgeons as well. Sometimes we're getting patients who are operated on at 8 o'clock at night, and we have the physicians and the staff to be able to handle that. But for the family members to try to be there and then post-operatively, it gets kind of tough. So I think that that impact is going to be improved, and we're going to see once the tower is built and once we start to use it, we're going to see a flourishing of our abilities to be able to provide better care to the community.
Well, it'll certainly help to that. I think that we've managed pretty well to do with what we had. We've added another OR room in the last, what's it been, 4 or 5 years now. We added that one in, which helped a lot and allowed us to expand our cardiovascular services so that we're now a STEMI receiving center. So when you have your heart attack, you can go locally. I know that's a big concern with anybody that's had any type of heart trouble. And I know within my own family members, they're like, well, I'm not sure I want to move to Santa Clarita. If I get my heart attack, where are they going to ship me? To Holy Cross, which is, a ways away.
That's right, it is.
And it's especially at times when there's fires or any other issues going on, earthquakes, as we all know, it's been difficult. And so being able to be freestanding has been wonderful. I think we've managed very well. Currently, the robot just got started up here this summer. And so we've added additional capabilities, which I think has, it allows the general surgeons, the urologists to expand their ability to take care of patients in a, what we call a minimally invasive way. So they have small holes instead of large holes when they have major surgery done.
Now, what do you mean, the robot?
So the robot is an advancement on laparoscopic surgery, essentially. And so it allows the physicians to work from a console where they control the clippers, the graspers, all the different instruments from a console just inside the room with the patient, but not actually over top of the patient. And so it allows for better visualization. You have bioptic, so stereo vision. So you can actually see better
almost
because of the way
3D.
it's set up. Exactly.
Really?
Yeah, it's great because, when I was doing surgery, sometimes, you'd be looking down into the incision and you'd go, is that a nerve there, or is that is that an organ there, or what is it? Sometimes you cannot tell because it's so deep inside. This allows amazing ability to, get down and make sure that you're not going to make a mistake by, using your scalpel and making an error. So it's tremendous.
Surgeon, so.
Oh, you have to be. I mean, this is the nature of having good hands and good understanding of, the anatomy of what's going on. And we have those surgeons at Henry Mayo, and this is, robotics is out there, the technology is there, and we're able to adapt those to our hospital and our community.
Yeah. No, I'm very proud to say that Dr. Stevanian, who's the lead for the robotic surgery, is one of our urologists and does an excellent job for us. He was fellowship trained in robotic surgery and minimally invasive surgery. He and Dr. Samadi have been doing robotic surgery for many years now. All of our urologists actually are trained robotic surgeons. So, and now the general surgeons are very much involved within it as well.
Now, when you say robotics or robot, is this one of these metal creatures that move around?
It doesn't move around once you get it parked in place. But yes, it
goodness.
is a metal creature of sorts.
I'm having a hard time visualizing that.
It won't talk back to you.
In a surgical room, in an operating room, you've got
Well, what you need to think
a
of
monster
it
there.
well, no, it's not a monster. But you need to think of it as more refined tools, so that the surgeons can do what they've trained to do over many, many years of residency and training, to be able to get in, see what they need to see, and it gives them a better visualization, a much cleaner view, and a much more refined type of movement, so that they can get in and do prostatectomies. Is the one of the main ones that we're able to do for the urologists. So as Gene and I get older, I'm sure we'll all sign up for our prostatectomy at some point. If I live long enough, I'm pretty certain I'll get my prostate cancer. But
Oh, don't say that.
Well, let's hope not. That
But at
doesn't
least the
sound-
technology will be available to us. We'll have options, and that's the important part of expanding technology. Some of the technology is just, is not going to be worthy for any hospital, and it has to be tried and tested. And certainly, we like to be on the forefront, but of course the the bigger hospitals, the teaching hospitals, let them do that. When they perfect it and all the kinks are out of it, bring it to us, because then we'll start using it.
Right. No, that makes sense for a lot of different things. I don't know that robotic surgery is by any means it's cutting edge of sorts, but I don't think we're bleeding edge at that point. It's something that's been around for quite a while, and with proper training, it's an expansion of skills they already have.
Yeah.
So you would not want to come out and just be only doing that ever. All of our surgeons are very well trained in open surgery. They're trained in laparoscopic surgery, and this is a further refinement of that allows them to just be that much more careful and refined in their approach.
More efficient.
More efficient, and any time that you can minimize the impact to the structures around where you're operating, the better the recovery. A lot of it's about collateral damage, and
That's right.
so if you don't have to make an incision that's 8 inches long, then you don't have to recover from that part of the surgery, and you just have to recover from the part that's done inside. So
So let's talk a little bit about OBGYN. Let's talk about your field, and especially applied to our seniors. Now, the OB part, not so much, but they are having grandkids.
Depends on
and
your
great grandkids.
definition
So
of
that's,
seniors, I guess.
that's
yeah.
true. But I'm in the sense their kids are having their grandkids, and that's
Yes.
great. So they have that available. But for our seniors and their health, for our women, some have had hysterectomies, some have not. Some wonder about the PAP. Some wonder about CA 125. They ask these questions like,
Sure.
to primary care doctors, and, sometimes they get conflicting answers. In terms of patients who might come into your office, and let's say they're 70 years old, they have everything intact in their body, but they haven't had their periods, they've gone finished their cycles. What do you say to them in terms of preventive care? We talked last week about mammograms. What about the GYN part? What do you recommend to your senior patients?
Well, a lot has changed as far as screening guidelines in our area of work, and so we look at pap smears. Over the last probably 7 years, we've seen a big change in how often they're done, when they start. So just to start at the beginning, the recommendation from the American Society of Colposcopic and Cervical Pathologists, which is not a health plan. So just so we're clear, it's coming from science, not from finances on this. They don't recommend starting pap smears till 21. And then once you get there, then they're recommending them to be done probably every 3 years until about the age of 30. And then at that point, frequently we'll add the HPV testing, human papillomavirus testing. The data has finally been able to kind of tease out that without HPV, the risk of cervical cancer is very low. And so there's now a co-test, if you will, of the regular pap smear that looks at the cells of the cervix, then also the HPV virus. And we find that if you're negative for both of those, the time frame for being routinely for a low-risk patient can be extended out to about 5 years for routine pap smears. Cervical cancer is something that gynecologists do very well. We have rapid or ready access to the cervix, if you will. Now, our clients may not see it that way, but compared to a lot of other organs, we have pretty good access to it. We have a screening test that is very effective, that is very sensitive. And so we're able to pick it up very early before it ever becomes a cancer. And so that's a fortunate aspect of that type of cancer, is that it tends to be also very slow growing in most patients. So if you do adequate screening, come in for your pap smears. You really should not develop cervical cancer. There are rare oddities that happen, but by and large, more than 95% of the time, it should be able to pick it up.
And you mustn't be afraid, because a lot of people will think, they've heard I don't need a gynecologic exam, I don't need any testing, I'm older now, why should I? But people get cancers, and these cancers are slow growing, like you said. So if they are slow growing, you can catch them early. Yeah, you might need surgery, you might need some tissue taken out, but you could be cured and move on with life.
And the nice part is that if we catch it early enough, we can do temporizing methods that resolve it without needing significant surgery, if you will, surgery that we can do in the office to remove those abnormal cells and to get us back to a baseline. So cervical is something we do very well. To your other question, though, as far as ovarian cancer, CA-125s, ultrasounds, things like that, we're not as good at that. We struggle with that, and that's why it still continues to be a bit of an enigma for a lot of us.
It's a big controversy that still remains out there, doesn't it?
I don't know if it's a controversy or a real struggle so much as to how to find the right tests to be able to pick it up early, and we've not found any. The American College OBGYNs has recently released statements stating we don't have good screening tests for it. So things like CA-125s are typically used to further risk stratify women that present with adnexal masses or pelvic masses, and so, okay, is this likely to be a cancer or is it not? And so it's not generally, it should not be used as a screening test, quite honestly. It can be used after surgery in somebody that's had an elevated CA-125 that's been treated to see if it's having a recurrence. But the usefulness of the test is rather limited, and we just need to understand what the purpose of it is so that it can be used appropriately.
What about the struggle we have with hormone therapy and hormone treatment, especially with women who might have sweat, be perspiring a lot, and they're uncomfortable, and and sometimes they think they're having other symptoms that might be related to it. How do you, when they come into your office, how do you relate to that, and how do you counsel those patients?
Hormone replacement therapy and menopause are very closely tied together and have been for quite a long time. It was going along swimmingly until about 2001, where if you were going into menopause, the answer was estrogen. It was the fountain of youth, and it was going to make everything better and keep you young for the rest of your life. And then in 2001, we had the Women's Health Initiative study that came out that said, well, hang on. I'm not sure that it's everything that we had promised it would be, and we see a slight increased risk in breast cancer. We see a slight increased risk in other issues, and so hold on. And it took a long time for us to get past or to delve deeper into that information and really tease out what the specifics of it were. I know that when in 2001, all of the primary care doctors said, okay, the new study's out, none of this. And patients would come in and see me and they'd say, look, I don't care. You got to put me back on
they were
this.
mad, weren't
I'm
they?
making left turns in traffic. I don't care if I get a stroke, if I get breast cancer, get a heart. I can't function like this. And so you got to put me back on it. And so it was with a fair amount of counseling to say, look, these are what the risks are. They're not overwhelming, but they're there, and we need to be aware of them. But having said that, I think that there's a significant amount of benefit that can be had as well. And that's what we found. Women in their 50s actually benefited quite significantly from it. And it wasn't until we got out to the 60s where women were being started on it de novo. They hadn't been on it for 5 or 10 years. You start them on estrogen, and those are the ones that typically seem to have more issues. Because the study was designed to look for, can we prevent cardiac cancer, heart attacks? Can we improve cardiovascular function? And Wyeth was certain that if they could do that, they would have found the fountain of, well, not youth, but it would have certainly been a financial boon. I think there's a lot of new. There's certainly a role to be played for hormones going forward. The North American Menopause Society has come out with new guidelines that'll allow us to use that going forward. So we're very happy to
North American Menopause Society.
NAMS.
Well,
Wow.
that you're talking about estrogen.
Estrogen.
Yeah.
And there's very much a role going forward.
I took it, but my legs swelled up like you wouldn't believe. I took myself off it.
Well,
I said,
it's
I'm
not for
going to
everybody.
do this.
No, it's certainly not for everybody, but it has a role for a lot of women that have significant side effects. So, but no, it definitely is something where you need to have that conversation one-on-one, whether it makes sense for you, and it may not for you.
No, it didn't for me. I'll never take it again.
And that's fair.
No. So far, I'm living a good life. So, anyway, I think we need to take a break, and we thank you very much.
Very
Dr.
welcome.
Marta,
It was a
for
Great
coming in.
information.
It was a great conversation.
Oh.
You know, you and I talked before the show wondering, what are we going to talk about? You know? But things fell into place.
Oh, there's plenty of controversies and interesting issues out there.
The struggles of medicine.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for coming by and talking with us, and hopefully we'll see you again.
I would like that very much. We'll look
Terrific.
forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Mission Valley Bank grieves for all who were impacted by the tragedy in Las Vegas. Their hearts go out to all the victims and their loved ones. They ask you to reflect for a moment and share your love and support. Let's take care of our Santa Clarita neighbors.
Why do people from all over Santa Clarita come to our spa in Canyon Country? Simple. They want the highest quality services at prices that everyone can afford. This is Rosemary from Beyond Harmony Med Spa. Read our reviews and know why we won the Ultimate Beauty Awards 2 years in a row by the readers of Elite magazine. Come and see how close we really are and experience the level of excellence that our clients have loved for the past 13 years. Go to beyondharmony.com or call 298-8008 today for a free consultation.
You already know Salt Creek Grill has the best food in our valley. Well, now you can have Salt Creek's gourmet meals catered to your event.
I'm Greg Amsler, owner of Salt Creek Grill. I'd like to introduce you to a new level of catering, featuring our catering director, Tamara Levine.
Salt Creek Grill creates memorable experiences, which leaves our clients and guests with a sense of awe and excitement. From menu development to picturesque presentation, you'll enjoy culinary excellence and creative catering.
Salt Creek Grill, a new level of catering.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
KHTS.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS. And now, guess who we're talking with? Nola Aronson of Advanced Audiology, one of our sponsors. Yes, one of our sponsors of the Senior Hour. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
What's happening in your life today?
Oh, just busy. We're getting ready for a lot of things. This weekend, we are supporting the Alzheimer's Foundation, and we're doing the Alzheimer's Walk. And then right after the Alzheimer's Walk, I'm the title sponsor for the Circle of Hope Tea.
Yes.
So one right after the other this weekend. And hope everybody will participate and at least come and say hi or do the walk. For Alzheimer's, because, as we know from talking about it a lot, that's very prevalent, and as well, some people are young, but it's mostly older people that are affected.
Who get Alzheimer's.
Right.
Yeah.
And so...
But how does somebody who is an audiologist who, helps our seniors with hearing difficulties, how do you get involved in so many organizations? And these are not, these are charitable organizations that are doing well in the community, and you back these organizations up to make sure that those people who they're serving do well. How do you find time to do that, Nola?
Yeah, it's fun to try to juggle all this, but I really like it. I like to be very involved in my community. I live here. I think it's the most wonderful community anybody can live in.
Absolutely.
And hearing is important, and that is my profession that I went into, but I just love to help people. So wherever I feel there's a need, fortunately, but unfortunately, there are like 100 different nonprofits in this community. So we're a very giving community as a whole, and I just feel to participate in this community, you should give back. And so I try to choose charities that mean something to me. Okay, so like Alzheimer's is important because not only do I have a family member with Alzheimer's, but we have a lot of seniors that I deal with that have Alzheimer's, and they also have trouble hearing. And as we've talked about in the past, hearing is really with your brain, and when you're missing parts of speech and stuff, you can develop, Alzheimer's or dementia, quicker. It's not necessarily that you have a hearing loss and you're going to get that, but they have related those two things. So that's important. So another thing very important to me is breast cancer awareness. And I love the Circle of Hope here because that board of directors is wonderful. They are really active. And they really do an awesome job of helping people. And the reason why that's dear to my heart is because I'm a 17-year breast cancer survivor myself. And luckily for me, I had insurance and good insurance, and so I was able to be taken care of. But there are people that don't have what I had. And so, I want to give back because I was able to get good care. And so for the people that aren't able to get the kind of care I did, I want to help them so that we have all survivors. And breast cancer does not get to anybody because breast cancer is curable. And you detect it early, it is curable. You do the standard treatments, you listen to your doctor. Do not try to do alternative treatments right now. Nothing's proven. I was told a long time ago, just do the standard treatment. And I did whatever I was told. I got through it. And you just have to keep a positive attitude on that. So
that's why it's so important to have regular mammograms.
Right.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Very once a year,
important.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hold my breath every year
Oh,
that
I'm
I get
sure
my
you do.
mammogram, but I just stay positive that it's not coming back. And I love the good news when I get that letter saying, you're clear for another year. So that's very exciting to me. So that's dear to my heart. Now, one other thing that's very dear to my heart is helping children. I used to be a special education teacher before I was an audiologist. And I love working with children. So I find that the illiteracy rate in the world is very high. And for some reason. So I went to the Boys and Girls Club, and so I'm Matt, the director there, and I donated 250 fiction books to the Boys and Girls Club, and then I gave them another $2,500 for other things that the Boys and Girls Club needs. I think we have a wonderful Boys and Girls Club here.
We do. Absolutely.
So
and that helps in terms of literacy. That helps kids do things with their time, go home and stay focused, study, do well in school. All of that allows them opportunities that they wouldn't have had without your donation.
Right. But anybody in this community who would like a tour of the Boys and Girls Club, I am sure that they will be proud and happy to give you a tour. That facility is so well run. I went for a tour twice now, but this last time, and the kids actually talked and told their story of why they were there. And then most of them, because they were helped by the Boys and Girls Club, when they get older and are able, they become staff on the Boys and Girls Club. It's just, instead of, in this day and age, you can't be outside like we used to be playing in the street anymore.
No, not anymore, unfortunately.
That's sad.
So it is sad. And
It was
so,
dangerous, though, before, too, and we didn't realize it. did
Yeah.
we? But it's sad.
It's a little bit more dangerous now, I think. But the Boys and Girls Club, because, you need two incomes in families, nowadays to survive, a lot of mothers can't be home like
right.
my mother was. My mother didn't work. So I always had a place to go home to and somebody to be there. But when nobody's there, the Boys and Girls Club is such a wonderful option because it gives you something to do. You have friends. They help you with your homework and do all those kinds of things. So another thing that our schools have, because of finances or whatever, our schools do not allow, a lot of extracurricular activities like art and music and things like that, a lot of them. I don't know that much intricacy there. But there's a dance studio here by Ingrid Blanco and Willie Royo, I think is they're husband and wife, but they kept their last names like my husband and I. And they started a youth foundation for dance because they don't only teach dance, they teach feeling good about yourself, integrity. They put that all into dance, and they started this foundation about a month ago. So I said, now, and I had just come from the Boys and Girls Club tour, so I started to think, now how can this relate? If I want to help their youth foundation, and they talked about all this self-esteem and building up things, how can I put this all together? So I donated to the youth foundation, which will allow approximately 20 kids at the Boys and Girls Club to get dance lessons for free.
Wow.
So that also tied into my Seroptimus group. We have the Go Girls, which are teenage girls who don't have good homes, who don't have a place that they can really see things in life. And they will also be able to get the dance lessons, too. So then I have 3 organizations by making one donation to help.
Pretty good.
So I realize I'm doing more and more. It used to be
that
one.
Is excellent.
It used to be one thing one each month, but I'm having fun doing this. I feel really good about it, and I'm able to do it. Now, personally, we have our new senior center coming up and our new building, and so Kevin McDonald, the director, came to me and he said, would you like to have a room named after you? And I thought about it. It was quite a bit of money. And I thought, I'm a senior now, and, I'm going to be using that senior center, and we deserve to have a beautiful senior center here, and because we're all getting older.
Oh, really?
So I said, okay, and I donated the money
Congratulations.
to have my own room last week.
Congratulations.
So, yeah.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah.
So you are just walking all over the place here. That's tremendous. But I'm not surprised. You've been doing that for years. But you're also involved in the business community, and you've been involved with the VIA, and you're going to be sponsoring your gold sponsor there, I think, that coming up event they're going to be having.
But that is tied into education also.
Yeah,
so they teach, high school kids what to do for jobs and how to get a good job and all that kind of stuff. So that
it's all tied in.
Gold sponsorship.
But also Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
You're highly involved there as well. But in all these organizations that you belong to, you're giving opportunity to those living in this community who would not get that opportunity. And by doing that, whether they're seniors or whether they're kids, that enhances who we are as a city.
Right. So I like to do this, but what's more important is in my business. I love to help people hear better, because then they can lead the lives that they've always led. I hear all the time them saying, when they don't wear their hearing aids, they come in like a guy yesterday, he's not wearing them. He goes, yeah, but I do find myself feeling more isolated because I really don't understand what people are saying. And I said, but that's the point. I'm not just here to sell you a hearing aid. I'm here so you don't get into that, where you don't get isolated and you start to stay in the community. And I went over his hearing test again and showed him how his hearing changed a little. And his wife was there, and she was saying, "Oh yeah, please wear your hearing aids." So he promised. He promised yesterday he's going to wear his hearing aids. And he realized that he could hear more clear and do better. But when people come, by me taking 10% of my proceeds to all these different charities and everything, I feel like I'm helping the people that come to me also give back to their community. So I'm going to start something new this year where I'm going to list out all my charities that I want to support, and then I'm going to have people pick when they buy a hearing aid, which charity would you like me to donate the money to? And then if, we have HIPAA laws, confidentiality. So if they want to, I was thinking of having a wall of fame or something like that, where you can have your name up there and what charity you donated to, if you want to put your name up there. But we'll have to see how that works. But this is our 30th anniversary, and we're going to be having a big celebration. I don't want to say any details because it's by invitation only, but it's going to be really fun. And the city's celebrating their 30th anniversary, and so am I. So it's amazing to have been here for 30 years already. I mean, you and I met each other 30
years ago.
And practicing for 30 years.
Yeah, I've been practicing for 40, but here for 30.
Here for 30. That's a milestone.
Yeah.
It really is.
And still growing,
and
too.
Still have a business that's flourishing.
More than that. I mean, it's more than just flourishing. I mean, if we're, flourishing means that within oneself, you're doing very well. Especially it's related to finances, but you have taken, your earnings and you've distributed them back to the community for the well-being of all of us here. And it shows.
That's what that word means to me. Flourishing.
Right. Yeah, flourish and prosper. And what I had this quote that I really like, which is, if you flow money towards pro-survival things, you'll have so much back that you can just throw it away. And that's really what I live by, and it just happens. And that's why I feel like I'm doing well, because I'm giving back to others, and I'm helping other people, and I love it. And that's, where my head's at.
Well, congratulations. And I know you talked about the senior center, but you also, we just want to mention that the senior center they're having a fundraiser at one of the restaurants here.
They're having so many things I can't keep up. But last week I did bonefish for them, and people.
Oh, that was last week.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? How did that go?
I just. For the lunch, she did a lot more people than she normally does. And that's where I presented my check to Kevin and Peggy Rasmussen, who's the president of the board of directors there. And so at dinner, there was supposed to be a lot more people. So I don't know actually the amount that they did, but it was a really nice turnout. Della... I don't know how to say her last name, Epilogue, I think. She's the managing partner there. She's a very generous person who's also involved in a lot of things in this community. And she donated 15% of every meal to the senior center, where even if people didn't say they were from the senior center, everybody got donated. So I don't know how the final tally was, but I think it turned out really well. She was really happy with the results, and we'll find out. Soon. I tried to find out last night, but I didn't get an answer.
Well, maybe they're not through tallying everything. Because it's what is it, the 3rd today or the 4th?
Yeah, and they're
Today's
using
the
an
4th,
abacus,
yeah.
so it
4th.
takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And this happened on the 28th?
Yeah.
28th.
Yeah. I would imagine people are slow at putting monies together.
Right.
So, do we need to take a break? Oh, all right. Old Eagle Eye over there. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM-1220 KHTS.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top-quality musicals and plays. Located in Old Town Newhall, the CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go to canyontheater.org.
Marinated strips of steak grilled to perfection with onions, peppers, jack and cheddar cheese, ranchero sauce. Mouth-watering yet? I thought it would. I could keep going, but I won't tease you like that. I'll just tell you where to go. Cabo Cabana and Stevenson Ranch, where fresh is just the beginning. Delicious tacos, burritos, enchiladas, tostadas, Baja Authentic style Mexican food that you just won't be able to resist. What more could you ask for? Cabo Cabana on the old road in Stevenson Ranch.
Men, are you feeling tired, stressed, or just don't have the energy you used to? Did you know this could be related to decreased testosterone levels? Luckily, there's a safe, effective solution. Weeder Prime helps support healthy testosterone levels with clinically tested key ingredients. Just 2 capsules of Weeder Prime each day can help change your mood, energy, focus, body fat, and lean muscle. Feel the way you felt 10, 20, even 30 years ago. Rediscover your Prime with Weeder Prime. To find a retailer near you, visit WeederPrime.com. That's WEIDER Prime.com.
When you have a craving for delicious tacos, you've got to try Shredded Tacos, home of Gene's famous salsa. Shredded beef and chicken, slow cooked and seasoned, placed in a corn tortilla and cooked to order in an iron skillet. Every order comes with a side of Gene's famous salsa, featuring an Italian twist that'll leave you wanting more. Shredded Tacos, featured on KTLA's Burroughs Bites. On Newhall Ranch Road in Dickinson, spreading taco happiness daily.
Once heart attack symptoms begin, delaying treatment increases the risk of heart damage, disability, and even death. Time is critical. Leading the Valley with the most advanced digital technology and treatment times that beat national best practice goals, Providence offers emergency coronary angioplasty and stenting, performed by highly trained board-certified cardiologists. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Drugs or alcohol abuse can tear a family apart. In Santa Clarita, just like everywhere else, it's an epidemic. The Way Out Recovery is here to help. Call them now at 296-4444 or visit them on the web at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. The Way Out offers outpatient treatment for adolescents, adults, and family members. The Way Out is compassionate, caring, professional, and confidential. You and your family don't have to suffer any longer. Call the Way Out Recovery now, 296-4444, or visit thewayoutrocoveryscv.com and make an appointment. Asking for help is the first step.
Mission Valley Bank grieves for all who were impacted by the tragedy in Las Vegas. Their hearts go out to all the victims and their loved ones. They ask you to reflect for a moment and share your love and support. Let's take care of our Santa Clarita neighbors.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS. And we're speaking with Nola Aronson of Advanced Audiology and a sponsor of the Senior Hour.
Yes, I am.
And, we've talked about the opportunities you have created, but, we give you that recognition, but you have now been recognized as one of the 51 most influential people in Santa Clarita. So, and that's, I think that's big time. Mm-hmm. I think for you to have that honor, it gives that recognition that you deserve.
Yes. I really appreciate whoever nominated me for that, being nominated, because every year, I look at the list and I go, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I ever got on that list? Uh-huh. And then I finally got on.
You did it.
Congratulations.
So that was really nice.
But well deserved. Come on,
Yeah.
Nola. You're so well deserved. You're been in the, we've been together 30 years in this community, and you have, far outshined anybody who's out there. And, you've given back to across the board, every aspect, from the juniors to the seniors, everybody, to give them a better life.
Yeah, the other thing I'm really passionate about is the drug problem that we have up here. And I went to the drug symposium, and I have a wonderful drug program that has a 95% success rate without using other drugs. And I have all these drug booklets and this DVD that's actually awesome. It's called drugfreeworld.org. If anybody wants to go on that, and you can get these free DVDs. That one of the things was when my son was about 15 years old. He's my only child, and he was at a friend's house, and nobody was there, and they were having this drinking game thing. Anyway, he came home like a dead rat, and I thought he was dead, really. I was so upset. I was crying. I stayed by his bed all night. And when he woke up, I told him that I couldn't handle this. And I showed him that DVD, and this is just for alcohol. And he never touched another drink. He got all his friends off of drugs and showed the DVD of why. And this DVD is so influential. I would like to be able to present it to the schools, but I haven't gotten that that in yet. But I'm working on that. So the other thing I just want to bring up about hearing is it's very important to be able to hear again, and don't think that hearing aids are just expensive and that's why you can't come see a private audiologist. We have hearing aids at every price range, every budget. We work with you, and we will give you the personalized care that you need. So
and I think everybody knows that, Nola. It's all personalized with you in every aspect of the things you do in this community. If our seniors who are listening need to get a hold of you, what's your phone number?
Yeah, so our phone number is 661-253-EARS. That's 661-253-3277. We do free hearing screening baselines for you. So even if you think your hearing's normal, it doesn't hurt to come in. Our goal is 1,500 hearing screenings this year. We did 1,000 last year. I think we're up to 780 or 800, somewhere around there.
Terrific.
So we need some more. We have just a few more months till the end of the year, and we are going to reach our goal. And we'd love to educate. As you can see, we're not just here to take your money. We are here to help you.
And hearing loss really affects the quality of your life.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Nola, thanks for being on the show again. It's wonderful everything you do for, all of us around the Santa Clarita Valley. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology, Nola Aronson, and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour, now going to enhance your quality of life.